What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Yeah, another episode of the Never Alone podcast with me, your host and friend, hopefully, Naledi Mayu, and thank you for joining me for yet another episode of the pod. As you can see, or if you're not watching or listening, I'm doing a video today. It's a video kind of day. So, welcome back. Um, I'm excited to be here. Um, a weird morning. So it's currently the morning as I'm recording this, and it's what's the time? It's 37 past 8 in the morning, and we are leaving for our tournament at 9:30. So I have like an hour ish, and I literally just finished packing. Like I started packing, and I finished packing in like I put a 30-minute timer because I was like I can pack in 30 minutes, and I finished in 25 minutes. So I have more time now to record, but I'm gonna finish a bit early so I can just like clean up my room. Apologies if you are watching and you are seeing the state. Well, actually, it's not that bad. It was worse. It was worse. So yeah, welcome back everyone to another episode. It's Tuesday. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I finished. I think I'm officially finished with my second year. My second year of university. I'm officially finished. I finished my assignment last night. I had to do this. Okay, wait. I had to do this e-portfolio. So basically, you create a website and put all your projects and put reflections. And I said to myself, I was only going to do half because I'm a lazy bum, and I was only going to do half. But I was like in the zone, and I was like, I'm going to ride this wave. I'm going to ride it because for me sometimes whether it's laundry or cleaning or just like doing like tasks and like chores and stuff like that, I need to be in a very, very specific mood to do it and feel like it. And yesterday I sat on the couch, I was watching the Met Gala, which we will get into. I was watching the Met Gala, and obviously the Met Gala is a very easy thing to watch. It's just people, whatever. So I'm like sat on the couch and I'm like grinding it out of my work, and I'm like, I'm in the zone. So I'm gonna ride this wave. And instead of doing half, I ended up doing the whole thing. And I'm grateful for it because now I can relax for the rest of today because our drive to Rome, Georgia is 5 hours. And I downloaded a bunch of shows, movies just to watch, but I'm probably going to sleep, listen to a podcast and sleep, and sleep because I woke up this morning exhausted. Like I woke up tired this morning. Anyway, welcome back. If you are new here and you have no idea what's cooking, what's going on, hi, hello. My name is Naledi Manjub, and this is the Never Alone podcast, where we talk about literally anything and everything under the sun, and we have a good time doing it. I think that's kind of that should be my theme or my word for the summer is to just like have fun and enjoy and see what happens. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like my mindset lately for things, even going into this tournament. Obviously, look, just because I'm prioritizing having fun, that doesn't mean I'm not serious about it. Doesn't mean I don't care. I think it's just more, it's a mindset that helps me actually. If anything, it helps me. So um, I'm just trying to have fun with the pod, with life, and also just trying to like not to be too deep or too like, but just trying to really be in the moment and enjoy every single moment. Even yesterday, we had a practice, and I don't know, there was like a different energy. It was a weird practice, but there was like a different energy in the sense of we're at the end of the season, people are gonna go home, some we're not gonna see, not ever again because they're not dying, but some are leaving, and I don't know, I was just really very hyper aware of where I was and how lucky I am to be where I am and where I was yesterday, and just trying to like enjoy every single moment. Which honestly, not to be like weird or anything, but it can be really hard to like be present and be in the moment. I feel like it can be really easy as well, but it's really hard to just think about, I'm here, I'm sitting, and I'm looking outside, and it's such a beautiful day, and really taking it in. Because sometimes you're like, "Ugh, it's not, it just feels a bit weird." But yesterday was a good day, so I was really trying to enjoy practice. And it was our last practice essentially together as a team. And so, kind of my vibe lately and for this tournament is literally to have fun. Like, that's my main priority, is to have fun. Because at the end of the day, guys, like, what is it for if we are not having fun? Not even just like in the context of me, but like just things that we do in general. Obviously, some things are more serious than others, but like at the end of the day, anyway, not to be too deep, but let's do a self check in moment and then we'll get into the episode. So I hope you're well. I hope you're happy. I hope you are healthy. I hope that you are taking care of yourself. I hope that you had a good day or you're having a good day thus far. It's still pretty early in my day, so it's a little too soon to tell how the day is going. But I woke up this morning really kind of. I was tired this morning. I woke up. I was like, I think I had a dream. I feel like I had a dream. Um, it was I had a dream yesterday. Weird dream. Like weird dream. Like no. Like a weird dream. And I'm pretty sure I dreamt again today. But I woke up and like my body was like aching. So when I was like, what the heck? But I woke up this morning and something I've been trying to do is just to like wake up and say to myself, wow, like not being surprised that I woke up, but being grateful to be like, wow, I woke up today, and thanking, the Lord for this day and the opportunity I get every single day. So I woke up today and I was like, what a great day to be alive. Even though my back was like, anyway, so I'm doing well. I'm like semi recovered from my sickness. I still have a lot of phlegm, but I feel like that's just like sinuses and whatever, changing of the seasons, whatever you want to call it. So I feel good for the most part. Um, yeah, I'm still pretty early in my day, but so far, so good. I hope you're doing well. Whenever you are watching or listening to this, whether you are still busy with your day, whether you're at the end of your day, whether you just started your day, I just hope that it's going well for you and that you have a good day. But life is life, and not all is well all the time. So if you did not have a good day or not having a good day, number one, I'm so sorry. Number two, it's okay. Tomorrow, tomorrow is another day. Sorry if my voice is like cracking. It's not. I don't know what's going on. Um, if your day is just not the vibe, tomorrow's not the day. The sun will rise again, and we will go again tomorrow with a good, positive mindset, energy, and attitude. Because why? Because that is what we do. Once again, thank you for joining me. I just realized I haven't written a poem in a long time. And I miss it. I was even yesterday, so let me tell you about yesterday. Nothing happened yesterday, but I'm gonna tell you about my day anyway. Yesterday, yeah, let me tell you about my day yesterday. So yesterday I woke up, I went to the gym to do something. I didn't do anything, but yesterday was like a nothing day for me. And then I ate breakfast, and then I got a message that I got a package at the post office, and I was like, "What?" Because I know for a fact I didn't order anything. But then I assumed it was something else. So I walked to the post office. It was like a 15-minute walk. And then I got this package, and I was like really happy for a second because it was a good package. I opened the package, it's this long letter, and I'm reading. I'm like, blah, 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 reading. And then I'm like, oh, and I basically spent my whole morning from like 10 or like 10:30 till 12, 12:30, just doing it. Was my taxes. It was my taxes. And I was on this. Oh my word! I I was reading this letter, and it told me to phone these people because I need my refund. And this one lady, she was looking mean to me, and I was like, "What the heck?" But I know I try my best to give people I guess, the benefit of the doubt of like, I don't know what you are going through or like what your situation is, but I tried to be kind. But I phoned this lady and she was telling me to do this, and I couldn't hear her. Like she was not, and she was a little mean to me, and I was a little bit sensitive to it. So I was in a vulnerable position, and then I was like really irritated. And then I phoned this other lady who was way more helpful. Um, so yeah, that kind of affected me. But then we had practice, and then I felt a bit better because the vibes were up. And then we had a lift, and then I said I was going to go to the gym. I did not go to the gym. I did my own little workout in here because I just could not be bothered. And it was raining, so I was like, no, not doing that. I'm not walking in the rain. So that was my day yesterday. Sorry, it was not. That was not a good story or interesting at all. But let's talk about yesterday because I'll talk a little bit about it, even though my opinion really doesn't matter. But I'm gonna say it anyway because why not? Um, it was the Met Gala yesterday. Wow, I completely forgot, kind of, that it was the Met Gala. I always know that the Met Gala is in May, but then I completely forgot like when it was, and it's always the first Monday of May. So the Met Gala was yesterday, and guys, I think that this. Oop, sorry. I think that this year's Met Gala is my favorite Met Gala there's ever been. Ever been. So I'm trying to. Oh my gosh. But, oh, sorry, I just got distracted. But 100% my favorite Met Gala that there's ever been, ever. And, oh, what? I'm just really confused. It was there was like a different energy about it, and I think, excuse me, not to be that person, but if at any point ever in my life I get to go to like some sort of fancy event or whatever, I think that in terms of my personal style and what I like to see and to look at and to wear, I think the theme of the Met Gala is probably like my favorite because I can, for like in my head, I'm thinking of Dochi, her outfit of like the suit, and even Zendaya's outfit, just all the suits that I saw was everything to me. I like that. I actually can't. It's actually too much. But it was a beautiful evening. I watched the whole red carpet and people's interviews. I'm still going through Emma Chamberlain's interviews on YouTube. If you know, you know. And I'm waiting for that Met Gala vlog as well. But if you know, you know. So it was just like an overall, and it was different. I think the thing that I like about it the most is that it was different than, because I was thinking about the Met Gala and I was like, it's low key, like most of the time, very the same. And I know it's not the same, but like if you look at the carpet was white or some sort of new like color or whatever. But it was like really, I don't know, something about this year really was really cool, and the theme was really cool with coaches. Lewis Hamilton, 8. Coleman Domingo, 8. Who else looked really good? Lisa looked really good. So many. Oh my gosh, Sabrina Goblin. Oh my gosh, there were so many good outfits. And I guess the theme really made me think a little bit because I'm gonna be honest. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna be honest. In the beginning, when I saw the theme, which is like super fine, black tailored, with the concept in dandyism, I butchered that so hard, but you know what I mean. Whoa, excuse me. Um, I genuinely thought that. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry, my mind is not present at the moment. 2 seconds. There we go. So, in the beginning, I was like, this seems. And look, I'm being very honest here, and I feel kind of bad. And I know there's no need to feel bad, but I feel kind of bad for thinking this way, but in the beginning, but this helped me, think about this. But in the beginning, I was like, this topic is very niche, if you know what I mean. Because, okay, let's get the actual thing, because I'm kind of butchering the name a little too hard. Met Gala. So the theme was super fine, tailoring black style. So I was like, okay, cool, obviously. But I was like, this is super niche because, yeah. And I'm like, how are other people going to take this? Because it's super tailoring, you know, super fine, tailoring black style. Like, very. So I was like, it feels really boxy and niche. And obviously, everyone has their own interpretation, which is what's really cool about the Met and fashion. But then I was like, actually, no. Because all the other themes, because obviously this focuses on the history of black people and the rich history of them in fashion and style, whatever, in those times. And it really acknowledges, look, I'm not like an intellect or spokesperson, but I'm just thinking, I'm saying what I think, what it means to me. Not that I went to the Met Gala, but what makes sense to me. Um, and in my brain, it's like, it's an acknowledgement. Oh, I saw this really good. Oh, okay, sorry guys, I'm all over the place, but Lewis Hamilton wrote it on his post. I love this man so much. Okay, let's see. In the world. Oh, so in Lewis Hamilton, he said something which is really interesting. He said, blah, 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 whatever. And to everyone who continues to honor the legacy of the Black Dandy, we've always been here. We've always been fly. And now we are seen. And that really stuck out to me in the sense of, not to bash the Met Gala or anyone in the past, but I don't think we realize how everything else is kind of not rooted in, like, I don't know how to say this, in the sense of, like, I guess the acknowledgement of, the black history in this, and the focus of it is so important because, as he says, is like, we've always been there, but now we're seen, like, we are seen. And I guess if you look at, like, other themes, because you don't think about it that deeply, how it's rooted in, what's the word, like, not like white people, um but at the same time, yes, but we don't think about it because it's so, like, it's been conditioned for us to think, oh, that's the norm of, like, white people have always been up there, like, we, but now if you look at this, it's like, no, black people have been there from the beginning. We've always been there, but we've always been, like, pushed to the side and, like, not acknowledged. And I think having this as the main theme of an event like the Met Gala is really important, and the acknowledgement is really important. And I hope that made sense, but I hope you catch what I'm throwing, in the sense of, like, you know. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna move on because I'm not making any sense. But I wish I could, um, I wish I could, you know, not vocalize, but I wish I could say that better in a way that makes sense and is not offensive in a way. But I hope you get what I'm saying. I hope you get what I'm saying. I think with this theme, it allows us to think a little bit more of our history, not even just as black people, but just history of, like, fashion, and how much of a role black people, white people, all different kinds of people played in fashion. And that it's not only just one group that contributes to a certain thing and that makes it great. Like, everyone's involved. You know what I mean? And this acknowledgement, I think, is really important and will be huge moving forward in the world of fashion. Look, I look what I'm wearing. Let's be real. I'm not no, like, fashionista or anything, but I appreciate fashion and the self-expression of it and the interpretation and the objectivity. Or was it subjective? Oh my gosh. I will never get this right. Or the subjectivity. Let's see. Oh, oh my days. Art is subjective. yeah, the subjectivity. I keep saying objective, um, of art and fashion as a whole. So I really enjoyed watching the Met. Um, yeah, I will. If I ever get to go to an event of such like high caliber or whatever, I will be looking at the Met of 2025 and the designers involved and pull that as reference because it was just like I don't even I have no words. Anyway, moving on, I wrote this note on my phone because this is mainly what I wanted to speak about. I know it's kind of random, but whatever. Um, I watched the show. I'll be down after this. I watched the show a couple days ago on Netflix. Shout out called Pulse. Okay, Pulse. Pul Pulse. Starring Willa Fitzgerald and I forgot the other dude's name. But I watched the show and I've said this so many times, but people love to hate for no reason. Like what the heck? I truly believe that no one makes something with the intention for it to be bad or with ill intention. I truly believe that like when people do something, especially like art, they are trying to start a conversation or convey a message. But I don't think it's like I'm making this because I want to put out like a negative thing. Like no, I don't think that that's true. But like even before watching the show, not that I was seeing negative reviews, but I was just like getting this vibe of like people don't like the show and people are always iffy about medical dramas, which honestly fairs because obviously it's very like it's entertainment. It's supposed to be entertaining. So maybe it's not always 100% accurate to the T, But whatever, like it's not that deep. It's not that deep, guys. I think that it's not that deep. But this Pulse is a medical drama on I almost said on Instagram, a medical drama on Netflix. Um, I don't know what else to say about it, but I loved this show. Like I loved it so much. The only thing I didn't like about it is that pulse thing. So what's the character's name? Danny. I kept thinking it was Abby, but Danny, every time she had like a flashback or whatever, they would do that, and that made me feel kind of weird, in a good way, but just like it kind of put me off a bit when they did the heartbeat thing. But I loved the show, guys. I love entertainment. I love storytelling, but I feel like this is, I guess, sorry, I just had like a brain fart, but I guess this show is probably one of the first shows in a long time that's made me really like uneasy with the characters and not just very uneasy and confused, which I personally loved and also didn't love, but I loved the fact that I didn't like it. It made me really like, I like this character, but she's not always making the right, like, not right decision, but she's not always making the best decisions. Maybe what she says sometimes is not like what I would agree with or personally think is a good thing to say. But at the same time, I like this about her. Overall, I've basically concluded to describing the show as messy, but in a good way, in a real way. Like the show is so messy, but it's so good. And I think the actor Willa Fitzgerald, she explained it in one interview that I saw that I was like, that's so true. She was like, none of these characters are making, one good decision or making the best decision, that makes you kind of like root for them. You know what I mean? It's really, I don't know how to explain it. It's really complex and complicated. And I just like, it's so messy. I mean, I was watching the last like 3 episodes and I'm like, dang, like this is tough. You know what I mean? Like it's so fluid and even like the, the main kind of centerpiece or like theme, not even theme, but like subject was like the sexual harassment, you like the sexual harassment case was like that underlying thing of what's happening in the midst of these people being at a hospital and them kind of balancing all these relationships and conflicts, all this stuff. And you know I really not, I really liked or enjoyed how they did that. And I just thought it was really interesting of how they handled that dynamic between the two characters, the main characters ish, which was Danny and what's his name? Xander Phillips. And the whole sexual harassment thing. I think it was really interesting. And the conversation, I don't know if it was episode 8 or 9 when they had the conversation of when they were going to HR and they were talking about, and Danny is like talking to Dr. Phillips Zenda about like you couldn't possibly know. And when I tell you, I rewinded that thing at least 10 times because I didn't understand in the beginning. She was saying to him like, you couldn't possibly know how I'm feeling right now. And she said something along the lines of, you couldn't possibly know how I'm feeling right now. And the only person I would need to understand that is you, but you could not possibly know. And if you watch the show, you get what I mean. But if you don't, you're probably like, what the heck are you saying? But just watch the show. And I was like, I don't understand what she's saying like by that. I don't understand what that means. And I watched that scene over and over and over. And I broke it down being like, what does this even mean? And then I continued to watch the show. And then when Xander Phillips spoke to Elijah about certain things and how, long story short, if you haven't watched the show, Xander Phillips, it was the chief, being going to be attending, and then Danny was a third-year resident going up for chief resident. So obviously he was in a higher position than she was, and they were like in a relationship situation. And I just thought it was really interesting in the conversations that were had. Was really important. And it really made me think about like relationships in the workspace. You know what I mean? But guys, wait, I wrote it here. Oh yeah, because I wrote it on my phone. I was really confused for a second because when I think sexual harassment, I think like harassment, and like not that there's different levels of harassment. Like harassment is harassment, but from what I've seen like shows in the past, the way they portray, sexual harassment has been different to what I've seen from the show. And I think what the show did so well is shown what, harassment can look like as well, which I think is a good thing. Um, and then, yeah, I was confused. As I said, I was rewinding, and then it clicked at the end a little bit because I was like standing in front of the TV, and I kind of like a weird thing I do is like I speak to myself when I'm watching a show, and I really like spoke to myself and broke it down in my head of being like, oh, 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 and it was like a fun watch to kind of like obsessed. I'm obsessed, and thinking about the themes in the show, a lot of it, and I hope, I don't know, but like as someone who is really interested in going into the medical field, um, excuse me, that being me, I hope that it's not like that. Because a thing that really stuck out to me was one of the themes was like which is so valid, but the students being concerned about what other people are thinking. Even in the beginning, when Danny gets appointed like interim chief, and she goes to Dr. Cruz and says like, why? And there's one scene where she goes to Dr. Cruz and says, whatever. And Dr. Cruz says, like, it's the fact that you are looking for assurance from me is why maybe she thinks she can't do this. Like, she's constantly looking to others to think about, like, what are they thinking? Even when she was in that relationship with Dr. Phillips, she was like, what other people may think. And when she says what other people may think, what other people are going to say, what they think about me, blah, blah, blah. Which I guess to an extent it's human to, care about what people think. But like, at what point is it like not doing like, if we are so hyper focused on that, then I don't think personally that's a good thing. And a lot of, yeah, even thinking about Dr. Cole, he wanted so badly for Dr. Soriano to like him and to approve of him. And it just made me really think, like, and I think Danny reached a point at the end, of like, you know what, I couldn't care less people think, I'm just gonna do my job. And that's when I think she did her best work. Not, yeah, I just think that's where how she when she thrived is when she really, just focused on herself and did the work. I don't know. But even the end, I don't think there's going to be a season two, as much as I'd love there to be a season two, because I would love to see Danny in the hospital. I would love to see Elijah as chief and how that goes for him. I would love to see what happens between Danny and Xander Phillips, who is attending now. Um, and what happens with Dr. Cole. There's just so much I want to see still, you know? So yeah, I don't know if they'll get a season two, but it was a good season one, and I really like that ending kind of. Um, I like where Dr. Phillips and Danny left off, or finished things. It felt very in the middle. Um, and when they were like when she was walking on the beach, I was like really confused, but I was like, good for you, good for you, Danny. You do you go, like, she's been through so much, you know. But I love it. I just love falling in love with characters and you know, what a show. What a show. I just love shows like that. And back on the topic of like what other people think and how that affects, you know, like a lot of us. Um, it really made me think about my life. And, I'd be lying if I said that I fully do not care what people think. Like, lying. I'll be lying to you. Um, but I think what I've done a better job at is knowing, well, not really knowing, but not letting that dictate my life, essentially. Because in the past, it really did. It was like, if I do this, then this person's going to think about this, so I'm not going to do this. You know what I mean? It's more of like doing what I want to do and letting the person think whatever they want to think. You know what I mean? And not letting what other people think rule my life, you know? And I wrote kind of like here in my notes, um, of like, how the supplies of like, so I just got a message. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I don't know. Um, how this applies to my life in the sense of, because it made me really think about it, because like these people were like looking almost every scene, like they would, let's say they were in like the trauma room or in the ER, and they would like do something, whatever, and they would look at Dr. Cruz to be like, I ate that up. I did that, and that made them feel good about themselves, you know, um, which is human. Like, I'm not saying, you know, if you're a bad person if you care what other people think. It's human, and it's how, if you really want to get into it of like how we build communities, thinking about others, whatever. Um, but yeah, I thought about it in the terms of like my life, like my faith, my tennis, and how there was a point, like for example, in my tennis, where I was really concerned what other people thought of me, like when it comes to winning matches, losing matches, going through tough times. Like I would think people hate me, like people think I suck, and I know it's not true. Like I know in like deep down in my head and my heart that it's not true, but it still really affected me. And with my faith, thinking about what people think about me and how I do things in my relationship with the Lord and stuff like that, you know, and just in life in general, how I move through my life, how I present myself. There was definitely a time where I was like, people think this is ugly, but then I've reached, like, I'm only 20 now, so let's calm down. So I still like battle with this sometimes, but I've definitely l- reached a point where it doesn't affect me as much, and I've learned, well, it's easier said than done, but and it's always like a balancing thing. I've learned to kind of think about what I actually like, and also just like kind of standing up for that in a weird way, what I like to do, and doing that and letting other people think what they want to think, you know. And it kind of ties in with that Mel Robbins thing of like, let them, you know what I mean? So one thing I can positively say is that other people's opinions of me do not dictate my life as it did when I was younger. That's my statement. That's my statement. Um, when it comes to what I think about when it comes to what others think about me, a lot of the time I couldn't care less. A lot of the time I could not care less. And then sometimes it affects me more than I would like. And that's life. Like it ebbs and flows. And I think a part of that is not punishing myself for thinking in certain ways, of being like, they're going to think I suck. They're going to think I'm ugly or whatever, you know. But what do I think? What do I think? You know, and that's what matters to me. Anyway, I kind of rambled and have no idea what I said there. I'm gonna love and leave you actually, which is so, so sad. Guys, it's the last week of school. No, I lie. It's just the last week. Um, I move out probably next week, Monday. I'll have to move out. Um, well, I'm moving out of like this dorm. I was gonna play you guys a song. I'm actually gonna play a song. Not a song, but something I did yesterday. Move out of this dorm apartment. My roommate is coming back today, but I'll be gone. She's gonna take all her stuff, and then we'll see each other one last time next week. And then it's summer. I didn't even share my summer plans, guys. Oh my days. Next episode, but I wrote this. I wrote a summer plans bucket list. I'm still writing it. I'll share it on the next episode. Um, and I was gonna record outside because it was such a pretty day, but it is what it is. So yeah, one more week, and then it's summer, and then I need to sort out so much stuff. Actually, I have to send these forms. I have to. Oh, it's fine. Once it's done, I will be much, much happier. So yeah, after this tournament thing, 2 weeks off, gonna be on the podcast and do all this stuff, and you know, all good vibes. So I'm gonna play you a song real quick. I'm gonna get my guitar. I was playing. Okay, let me get it first. Ooh, look how messy this room is. Look at her. This is she. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, wait. Ah. Okay. Okay, so I was playing yesterday, and I have like these videos. I record myself. Don't laugh. I I record myself playing guitar, um, because sometimes I have an idea and I want to remember it. Look, I play for myself, by myself, all the time. But who knows? Maybe I think a goal of mine this summer is to. Oh, let's add it on the list. Is to write a song. Is to write a song because I like to put chords together, but I don't know how to like write a song. So goal is to write a song. Um, and I've just really been enjoying playing the guitar lately. So I'm gonna play a progression for you that I think is really pretty, and I hope you like it, and I hope that you can hear. Okay, I hope this works. Okay. Okay, that's all I have. Hopefully you heard that. But I just thought it was really pretty. Oh, another one. It was. Okay, I'm done. Thank you so much for listening. I'm gonna love and leave you. I'm having so much fun these days, and I hope to keep that going. So, if for whatever reason, I'm trying to think about what I can leave you. I'm trying to be inspo. I've got no inspo, but I'm just gonna say, have fun. If anything, have fun or try to have fun. I know life can be really, really hard sometimes. What is that noise? Life can be really, really hard sometimes and stressful and difficult and confusing. Believe me, I know. Um, and it really makes me, because of that, it really makes me appreciate moments like this when, I'm in a good space and I'm prioritizing having fun and enjoying every single moment or trying to enjoy every moment. So that's my message and reminder to you is to just have fun today. Okay? Have fun today. Whatever you're doing, just try have fun. Try find joy in the little things, in the people around you. Surround yourself with people that you love. Call someone that you love and say, "Hey, hope you're doing well." So yeah, I'm not gonna do an outro because I do not want to. I don't want to. So I'm about to leave, and I'll see you on probably on Sunday for another episode. So okay, bye. Summer.